Welcome back to Take Action News, everybody. David Shuster here. So glad to have you on board this Memorial Weekend, and everybody who's listening or watching to us in the days and weeks to follow, either through our YouTube channel or some of our syndicated radio stations. Special thanks to Daniel Marins for that first 6 minutes, and also our A Block. Folks, what a week and what a time this is to be a reporter in Washington, D.C., or basically anywhere, and to be covering government activities. We learned this past week that the Department of Justice launched an investigation into Fox reporter James Rosen. A couple of years ago, Rosen was working on a story on how North Korea might react to a new round of UN sanctions. Rosen was trying to entice a State Department official to meet with him, and in fact, they did meet. Rosen used flattery. He used pseudonyms, set up a system whereby the State Department official might be able to feed information to James Rosen without too many people knowing about it. The State Department did find out. They were so infuriated that they launched an investigation and brought charges against the State Department official, but that's not where they left it. In order to go after the records of James Rosen, the Department of Justice went to a federal judge and described James Rosen, a reporter, as a possible co-conspirator. In other words, somebody who had possibly been involved in committing crimes. Based on that portrayal of the reporter, the judge approved the subpoena that entitled investigators to go after James Rosen's phone records, all of his phone lines at the State Department, at Fox News, even his parents' phone lines, where James may have made some calls from Staten Island as part of his job. Is this going too far? Well, at Fox News, of course, they said it was. Here's Britt Hume, a former Fox News managing editor, describing the situation.
Where this crosses, it seems to me, a clear and bright line is when they subpoenaed the phone records on the pretext, I would call it a pretext, even indeed possibly a pretense, that this activity was criminal. That places this administration in the position of saying that normal news-gathering activities of journalists are possibly criminal or are criminal. That is a little chilling.
It's also something that a lot of us who have covered government in Washington have never heard of before. I mean, the government has taken some pretty strong steps to try to stop leak investigations, but the idea that you cross over, the idea that you treat reporters as criminals in order to get records on them is flabbergasting. And that's why you've heard the media, some of the reporters this week, so outraged at the Obama administration. A couple of things here in terms of sort of my thoughts on this. First of all, I feel like the government has an obligation, perhaps even a responsibility, as much as I don't like it. But the government has the right and the obligation to go after government officials who are leaking classified information to reporters. I get that. That's part of the terrain. That's part of the territory. When you're a government employee, you're under certain obligations. If you violate those obligations, the government may come after you. But when the government comes on the side of the fence of reporters and crosses and no longer just goes after government officials, but goes after reporters and reporter records in order to try to do their investigation, that to me is outrageous.